Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have really one of the top prospects on the offensive line from the FCS this season. His name is Tyler Smith. He's a left tackle there at Western Carolina. Nice to meet you, man.
It's nice to meet you too. Thank you for having me.
So yeah, like I said, I mean, a guy who's a pretty big dude, over the 6'7" mark, playing left tackle there for Western Carolina. Um, you've had a boatload of starts, 43 consecutive is what your website lists.
Yes, sir.
And then of course, we're going into this season where you're one of the top prospects at your position. So very interesting. But before we get talking about anything else, set the stage, buddy. Tell me where you're from and kind of get us from point A to point B.
Okay. I'm from a little small town in eastern North Carolina called Laurinburg, North Carolina, out near the coast. And I played football there and grew up there my whole life. And this is kind of a small one of those small football towns to where football's all everything y'all ever did. So it's just all I've ever done my whole life really is played football. So
Gotcha. So how far does that go back? You said you've played your whole life. When did you start
I've
playing?
probably played football, competitive football. I've played since I was 7 years old.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tyler, I was kind of looking at just kind of your high school days. I mean, I know you said it was like a little town and it's all
Mhm.
about football. And so the one thing that I was able to find, which I thought was kind of interesting, was one of your teammates back in your high school days was Zamir White,
Yes, sir.
running back who's currently there for the LA Raiders. So what was it like blocking for him?
It was definitely made my job easier. I could say that, but no, I mean, it just he was a guy that even though his status was what it was, he still expected the best out of all of us, and he really pushed us to be the best, and he really helped me. I mean, he was my workout partner. I mean, we were some of the strongest guys in our school, and so it was me, him, a couple other linemen. We worked out together, and so we always made sure each other were getting faster, stronger, and it was my job. And I told him, I said, man, I said, I'm gonna do my best to make sure you don't get touched for 10, 15 yards as you just run.
um, again, you end up there at Western Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Tell me the story about you getting there to Western Carolina. If there were any other schools in the mix there, or just kind of walk me through that.
So I was, I guess you could say, a late bloomer. So I came into high school playing center. I was probably like 6 foot, 6'1", and by the end of my sophomore year, I ended up growing about 6'5".
Mm.
And so I grew a lot. And so as you can imagine, I was kind of really uncoordinated growing that much. And so like it just took me a while to get used to my body, I guess. And so I'd say I really didn't come around because then after growing my sophomore year, I ended up growing a little more to about how tall I am now by my senior year. And so it was a lot of changing for me a lot in high school. So I would get kind of used to my body and it would kind of just throw me off a little bit because I would have to grow a little more, get a little more lanky. And I was always kind of a skinnier kid. I was probably about, I think I was my senior year, I was probably about 270, 275. And I think for me, it's just there, as far as recruiting, I mean, I talked to so many schools. I mean, as you know, I've had one of the best players in the country in my locker room. So, I mean, I saw
Right.
a lot of coaches came through and I got introduced to a lot of people. And I always heard the word just potential and potential, potential. And it just that I was like, so I could really do this. And so that was when I really kind of tried to put my head down and start working. And I had I went on a lot of visits and things like that, but I never really got any offers. And I couldn't never really figure out why. And I was just like, and I mean, like I said, I also had potential and I was working hard, lifting weight. I was gaining weight. And I talked to a lot of D2 schools and stuff like that, and I ended up being selected to play in the Shrine Bowl for the Carolinas.
Hmm.
And so, right before that, Western actually came on and offered me. And before that, I was actually thinking about going the junior college route. I talked to some coaches from like Garden City and things like that, and that's what I was going to do until actually Western came and offered me. I came here on a visit, and I enjoyed the coaching staff a lot. And I just like they gave me my shot, and I was really appreciative for it. So I took the opportunity that I had.
Awesome. So they gave you the opportunity, you ran with it. I mean, you took that and ended up there at Western Carolina, being there for obviously several years. I mean, of course,
Yes, sir.
COVID gave us an extra year, so I mean, you have an opportunity to add to that total of 43 consecutive starts, which I think is crazy. What else are you doing there at Western Carolina? What's your major? What are you doing there as a student?
So I actually graduated this past spring with a double major. I graduated with a business administration degree and a business marketing degree. And then in the fall, I'll be re-enrolling as a sports marketing with a sports marketing degree. So starting off
Interest.
with sports marketing, yeah.
So double major and now back one more round
Just
for
one more time, yeah,
whatever you can get. So
yeah,
um hypothetically, what do you see yourself doing like when your football days are done? I mean, have you thought about that yet?
yeah. I have. So in high school, I did a lot of we had the kind of like a dual enrollment program with like the community college, and so I actually did a lot of welding. And so like I've had a couple back home. I have a couple companies that have like totally expressed to me like I can kind of go out and they'd offer me a job to go out and weld and stuff like that. So that's kind of always my fallback plan was to go back and go to welding.
Welding. That's an
Yeah,
interesting little thing to get into. I mean,
it
I know that
is.
there's
I It was something that I just kind of fell in love with. I kind of enjoyed it when I started. I was like, all my friends took it, and I was like, man, I want to try this. And I got into it, and I was like, I really like this. I just cause it's just kind of a peaceful thing to me. I don't know, it's weird. I mean, I've always done that kind of like blue collar work my whole life. I mean, where I've worked on farms. I mean, grading, landscape, and all that kind of stuff. So it was never really hard for me to go out and get sweaty and work for people.
cool. Well, obviously that's something that you're used to. You're used to working with your hands. I mean, they're on the
Mhm.
offensive line,
Yes, sir.
smacking people around and moving bodies, of course. So let's get to talk a little bit more about some football there. I mean, like I said, guy who plays left tackle for Western Carolina. So, what do you feel separates you from the rest of the prospects out there?
Um, I don't think I moved very well to be as big as I am, but I guess that's something that everybody says. But I'm a pretty fast guy to be 6'7", 6'8", and 312 pounds. And I'll get to show that one day. But I think another thing is just I enjoy the harder things about the game, sport of football. I think that's what really separates me. I think a lot of guys they enjoy playing football and they enjoy the working out with their teammates, but I really enjoy the parts where we're in winter workouts and we're outside at 5 in the morning and your coach is screaming down your neck and he's really testing your manhood. And I enjoyed that. I don't know why, but I enjoy when somebody tries. I've always been a guy when I was younger. I wasn't the best athlete. I've always been told you can't do this, you can't do that. And so those moments where somebody tries to tell me I can't do this and I can't do that, it really pushes me to be a better person and to show them that I can. And so I just I enjoy those tough, gritty moments to where the coaches, trying to break you down, break your body down. It's mentally tough, and I love to prove them wrong. It's just kind of my thing.
Gotcha. Talk about that offense there, the Catamount offense, man. I mean, how would you describe that, for people that aren't very familiar with it?
For I would say it's explosive. That's the one way to do it. We with the new staff that we have now, which I guess I mean this is their third year now with this new coaching staff that I have. They believe in explosive plays, and we're going to run the football, and then when you're not looking, we're going to throw the ball deep downfield, and I hope you can catch our receivers because we got some fast ones.
Gotcha. Walk me through maybe one of your favorite plays that you guys run. I mean, maybe not like the exact terminology in that
Yeah,
playbook, because if we don't want to give away too many clues
yeah.
there, but you know what I mean? Just kind of like just an idea of maybe something that you yourself, like when you hear it, you're just excited that play's been called.
I think my favorite play would have to be kind of like a pin pull concept. And so it's one where it's kind of different than some other pin pull concepts, but it allows me to run and get out in space, and I think it kind of shows off my athleticism, and I get to hit people. So I mean so it's all about. I mean,
Cool.
yeah,
Well, hey, I mean, you like going out there, you like mauling people, so
oh yeah,
hey, if that's your bread and butter, if that's what you like doing, I mean, hell, why not?
yes sir.
What's been maybe one of your best moments there for your team? I mean, when you think about like all those great games that you've been a part of, what sticks out the most for you?
I think one of the moments that sticks out the most for me would probably be this past year with some of my teammates, especially some of the guys that have been here just as long as I have, which is only a handful. That this past year was actually the first, I'm pretty sure, winning season that I've been a part of since I've been at Western, which was last year. And we play, I'm pretty sure it was our last home game. We played Chattanooga, UTC Chattanooga, and we beat them and knocked them out of playoff contention, and we won that game. And it really fired me up because it kind of got me a little emotional. I hate to say it that way, but I've worked my tail off for so many years for this school, and I've had people say, "Man, why don't you leave? Why don't you do this?" And I just like not knocking the portal kind of thing or whatever. But in my personally, I see it as quitting personally to me, like just not wanting to do thing. But some people have different things to say. Just like that's how I view it in my head for my personal reasons of not wanting to do it. So
Hey, that's okay. I think that there are benefits and
yeah,
like you said, some other reasons maybe not to do it too, but
yeah,
let's not dwell on that so much. Let's keep
yeah.
moving forward. When you think about really just your career as it stands right now, let's take a moment just to kind of reflect. I mean, what do you feel has changed the most since you coming in as a freshman up to now?
I think that have changed the most for me probably when I came in as a freshman. I was actually heavier than I am now. I actually stepped foot on campus at like 3:30 first day on campus, and it wasn't a very good 3:30. But I was like, I got to get bigger because I want to play Division I football, and so I try to get as big as absolutely possible. And that kind of when I got here, I started doing obviously college conditioning and stuff like that. It kind of humbled me a little bit. But I think the biggest thing that's changed is just how I take care of myself. And it's obviously having 43 consecutive starts, I have to take care of my body because I mean, it's a hard thing to do. And so I think that's the one thing that I've done is just gotten better at taking care of my body and treating myself better, so I can continue to play all these games and continue to get better. Because with if you always in the training room and things like that, I mean, you're missing opportunities to get better on the field. So it's kind of where I will try to
Yeah,
do. I think I
so
got there.
you trim the baby fat and now your prospect, man. There's going to be a lot of people looking at you as to,
Mhm.
a guy that's going to, maybe hear his name called, this upcoming season. I mean, who knows? But you're going to be on like a lot of I mean, a lot of scouts are going to come see you is basically what I'm trying to get at. So,
Yes, sir.
but what do you feel you need to do this year in order to better like your stock? I mean, what do you feel you need to really work on?
I think personally, what I work on is consistency. So I think in just being that guy every play of every snap on the field that can change the direction for your like as much as an offensive lineman can change the direction for your team. But I mean, and I think another thing I work on is being a vocal guy, a vocal leader. So I've always been a leader, but I've always tried to just lead by kind of my actions, and I'd say a few things, but like I really need to focus on. And when things are bad, I've always tried to be leader and try and tell everybody to get their stuff together. But I think I need to work on leading better as when things are positive, like congratulate my teammates and being happy for my teammates when we do good, instead of just like being all nonchalant and just like yay, and then kind of going and doing my own thing. But also being consistent in my technique and just trying to do the best I can do every snap for my team so we can win games.
Gotcha. You highlighted your leadership there. I know you've been a team captain now going on a couple seasons. So we'll see how things pan out this upcoming year. You have any personal goals? So, when we think about those things, I mean, I know a lot of people have some things in mind, but what goes through your head about your own personal goals, this upcoming season?
My personal goals for the upcoming season is obviously to help my team win games, and I I mean, obviously, there's things like all conference and all those things. I mean, those things come as long as you do your job. It's like I don't really set as a goal. As long as I go out there and do my job, that's kind of what will happen, and this kind of goes. But also, I don't deem my success off those things because as long as I'm helping my team and my team's doing good, I feel like those things are kind of this fall in place. So I try to measure myself off of those, which I mean, I've had them. I've been off a call conference a couple of times and things like that, and I'm very appreciative of it. And it's just I don't really know. I mean, other than I want to play, obviously I want to play in the NFL. I mean, I want to play in the NFL since I was just a little kid. It's every football player's dream though. But I mean, as far as like those things that are very obtainable, just as far as be the best I can be and help my team and be all conference things like that, just if it happens.
Cool. Well, Tyler, let's take a moment to step off the field a little bit. I mean, I want to
Mm.
take a moment to get to know you outside of the game. So, anything you want to share about yourself that you haven't said already? I mean, again, non-football stuff that, maybe others might have some interest in. I mean, or anything that you'd like to share. So, hit me with something.
Um, other than there's not much I do. I mean, football's kind of my life, but other than football, I'm a pretty avid outdoorsman. I do a lot of hunting, fishing, things like that, and it's just kind of what I do. And me and my dad have an old car we work on here and there together. But just other than that, I just kind of work with my hands and hunt and fish and work out and do football. It's not really a whole lot much more I do.
No, it's cool. I got a couple questions here that are just kind of simple little responses. So
Okay.
let me hit you with a couple of them. I know again you grew up in a small town, so I mean I got to ask what's the farthest place that you've ever been from your hometown?
The farthest place I've ever been from my hometown, probably it's either when we went to Oklahoma, but last year before last to play at Oklahoma, or I went to South Florida with to Fort Lauderdale with a couple of my friends for this past spring break, and we hung out down there. So I think that was probably two of the furthest. I've never really been like far up north. I think when I was younger, I went to like go see the Ravens play or something like that one time. That's about as far as I've been upwards. But
Gotcha. Well, up south, whatever, but
yeah,
Oklahoma would probably be the furthest I would imagine.
yeah.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? That's a hard one. Probably this is gonna be weird. People are gonna think because I shouldn't know this movie, but Roadhouse. I'm a big Roadhouse guy. I like that movie a lot.
I know that movie. I'm very familiar with it. It's
Yeah,
Patrick Swayze one, I
crazy.
imagine.
Yeah.
So cool. If you're binge watching a TV series or whatever, is there something that you would recommend?
Um, I don't really watch a lot of TV, honestly. I've been I stayed pretty tight with the Outer Banks series. I watched the Outer Banks series, but I mean so does everybody, I guess.
Sure,
But
sure. Favorite snack, candy, or whatever.
favorite snack. Ooh, that's a tough one. Big guy, I like to eat a lot of things. Um, I'd say probably my favorite snack would have to be like pretzels, probably pretzels.
Okay, that's fair. Let me see if there's anything else on here that I can ask you. But obviously a guy who I know, you've been a fan of this game for quite a while,
Yes, sir.
football. I mean, um, who at the next level have you been maybe like the biggest fan of? I mean, is there a guy that maybe plays your position or that you've been watching or what?
I've been a very big Taylor Lewan fan. I actually would listen to his podcast, the Bus with the Boys and all kind of stuff, and I've always been a big fan of his. And he's kind of a leaner guy like I am, so I've always kind of like he's kind of inspired me to be better and like kind of mimic some of the things he does because, like I said, he's kind of on the leaner side, like I am, so I can use some things he does to help me.
Cool. So, obviously a guy who hopefully you can continue to grow it and to be like. I mean, because I mean,
Hmm.
I know he's very well respected in the league
Yeah.
right now. Tyler, do you want to wrap up our time? It's been fun getting to know you. So, here's how I want to wrap it up, man. I mean, there's going to be a lot of scouts that are going to be looking at you this season. So, I want you to talk to them directly and tell them why you would make a good addition to their team and all of that. So, go ahead and close us with your pitch.
I think I'd be a good addition to your team because, like I said, I work hard and I'm not afraid of hard work. I worked hard my whole life, and I'm never going to back down from any challenge. It's just something I've never done. I've prided myself on being mentally tough and never folding under pressure, and it's just kind of my thing. And I just hope that I'll get the opportunity to play for your team and that I can show you what I can do because I've been told all my life I can't do it, and I promise you I'll show you I can.
Cool. Well, a country boy who likes to use his hands and also be a mauler out there on the football field. That's who you're going to get out of Tyler Smith here. So thanks for the interview, buddy, and wish you best of luck this upcoming season and anything else you got going on in your life. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. Once again, Tyler Smith, offensive tackle out of Western Carolina. Check this guy out.